Good morning. Welcome to the Beach Business Breakfast Show. This morning our guest is Garis. So Di, thanks for joining us. Just before we kick off, a quick plug for the Beach Business Breakfast. Third Thursday of every month, 7:30 to 8:30 at Merriweather Surf Club. $10 for informal networking and chance to meet some new business contacts. So we also have Peter the Pineapple here, but we're not sure if he'll actually make it onto the film. But yeah, thanks Peter for coming in. So Di, welcome. Thanks for coming. Tell us a bit about what you did before you started Total Financial Security.
Well, how far do you want me to go back?
As far as you like.
Okay. I used to actually teach, taught with the Department of Education Training, taught with TAFE, and then did consulting work for about 10 years.
Nice.
And then formally went into the property advice business, which has a lot of education associated with it anyway.
Yep.
So it was, in some sense, a natural transition.
Natural transition, yeah. What did you teach when you were a teacher?
Economics, geography, legal studies were my areas.
Oh, good.
Don't
That's
ask me
excellent.
any geographic questions this morning.
That's right. Apart from the geography of Merriweather Beach.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah. So that's good. So why did you decide to make the move from those things into the property advice?
Into property advice. We had been involved in property investment ourselves for many years, and we had offered a service within the accounting practice for clients who were interested in property investment for probably 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And we recognised that there was a lot of gaps out there in the market, shall we say, to put it nicely. And when I came off contract, there was an opportunity to grow that side of our business, and that's how it started back in about 2007. And then it's grown ever since then. So originally it was for our clients that we had then. Now of course it's much broader. We look after clients in the practice, but also just the general public who want that service.
Cool.
So it was sort of like a demand pull. So you had you'd scratched your own itch, figured out, okay, well, this is how you do property investment, hopefully correctly, and you're like, okay, well, we've got accounting clients that have got no idea and they're seem interested in property investment, so how do we help them? Is it as simple as that?
Well, I don't think that you necessarily, when you start doing it yourself, think that you've got it right. There's always a better way of doing it, and you kind of think, well, where do I find that information? Is it by trial and error? And most of the people that we deal with, that's what they were doing. They were doing it by trial and error. And if you get it wrong, it's expensive, so you really need somebody who's on your side, supporting you and kind of guiding you. And my sort of educational track from the time we started actually offering that service initially was quite high. And we're always learning stuff all the time, because my role, probably 90% of the time, when I'm not dealing with clients, is research.
Yeah, right.
So you've got to kind of keep up to date with everything that's going on nationwide and building your network of experts. And you never stop learning about this stuff.
I think with accountants, especially, say 10, 15 years ago, they were heavily relied upon in the property transaction. So the mortgage broker or the bank would want financials. The client would want depreciation schedules to work out how the transaction would stack up. So I think a lot of accountants sort of thought, well, we're doing a lot of this work, and a lot of accountants did get into mortgage broking, and a lot of accountants did set up form alliances with property partners. So how did you get your first couple of clients? Was it through the practice itself?
Was through the practice. And I think it because you're giving advice to people and they're looking at investing a significant sum of money, they really need to get to know you first and trust you and respect the level of advice and expertise you can give them before they're ready to take that next step. So it's a bit different to most other services and products that you might be offering out there in the marketplace. It's really very much about the personal relationship with the client, and then trusting your expertise and track record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are you going to spend $500,000 with someone that you met once at a workshop who sounded really good, but you didn't know what else they could provide to you?
And someone that's got real experience and practice in the area that you're after as well. So if you if you'd started a property investment company and you had no properties invested yourself, that would present, well, it's not a problem, but it would be less convincing than if you've been doing it for 20 years.
That's right. And I think, you know, you start to pick up important sort of milestones in your knowledge and your journey when you're doing it yourself that you can then help other people with.
Yep.
You know, because I don't think people ever realise how complicated it actually is to do it properly.
Sure.
It's one of those things, and you guys would know, certainly from the broking business, everybody would listen to their mates at the pub or whatever about, oh, this is a great idea and you should be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. And you just have no idea what their expertise or experience has been. You know, and it's probably not touching on half the things that you really need to consider.
I think when
it's a bit of a gap analysis.
When people do talk around barbecues and at the pub or, you know, watching the kids sport, you know, they talk about the local area. So they might say, oh, you know, the Hill or Walls End or, you know, for Newcastle people, you know, gee, I think that's going to be a good area to get into for various reasons. Whereas groups like yours, you know, you can say, well, it's actually the growth could be, say, the Gold Coast or the Adelaide Hills or you know, the back of Perth or whatever, because you're looking at the property fundamentals. So that's an important thing. How's I know with real estate agents, they are in, say, the Real Estate Institute.
Yes.
And they do their course. With you guys, is there like a peak body that's sort of...
Yeah, there is. Yeah, the Property Investors Association of Australia. Yep. They actually run training for people who want to be advisors. I've done one of the first people who had done their training with them.
Yep.
It's one of those industries that's unlicensed, and that's where the problems come in the perception out there in the general public, because most people who've ever been along to a workshop, they've probably gone along to someone who's really just a reseller of a builder's product.
Yep.
They're really not advisors at all, and there's a conflict of interest. So PIA are our industry body, and they've prepared really the advice industry for licensing. And so we operate as if we're being licensed, even though at this point in time there is no requirement of licensing. But obviously we can tell people the sort of questions that they should be asking people that they're seeking advice from, to really get a sense of, do they know what they're talking about.
Can you give us an easy example of something that surprises people once they get into property investing? So, you know, we assume they're reasonably financially literate. What's something that they go, oh wait, I didn't know about that?
Well, they don't tend to know about property cycles and how the market operates in different parts of the country. David's quite right. You know, people tend to have a feel for what's happening in their own suburb or their own city, but probably not much beyond that. And they don't necessarily, a lot are sort of very over-dependent. They think if you go on the net, you're going to be able to do the research and you're going to be able to make an informed decision. And I'm here to tell you that's the tip of the iceberg.
So I mentioned that's quite difficult because all the people who are selling the properties are quite self-interested in them being the best and them being in the best area. So getting a
impartial,
some kind of impartial viewpoint of this is a good area to invest in would be quite difficult because
we'll often have people, and it really depends on what a client wants and what their goals and their strategies are, but you know, we'll always give them warts and all. You know, if a person is determined that they want to go into a particular area and we know that there perhaps might be better options for them, we can find something for them, but in the reports that we give them, we'll say, look, this is the situation at the moment. If you go in here, this is the likely outcome that you're potentially going to get. If there's some negatives, so if it's at the bottom of the cycle, you know, or there's an oversupply of properties in that area, we'll state that so that they know that if you're going ahead and you're going to invest in that area, you're doing so with the knowledge that...
You're going in with your eyes wide open.
Wide open, that there's, we're not holding anything back, we're telling you exactly what
sounds to me, so you're sort of trying to bring people back from maybe an emotional decision to a rational one, because it's like, oh, well, I don't know, let's say my uncle invests in properties in some town in Australia, so I better invest in that town, or I grew up in this town, so I really want to buy an investment property in that. Is that
a lot of people want to?
I want to buy a holiday home.
And they want to drive past it. Past and say, oh, that's my place, you know,
that's right. And as I say to them, you've got no idea what's happening behind those doors, even if you're driving past. You know, they may or may not be looking after it.
You started off with, say, clients in the practice,
Yep.
and then it sort of grew.
Yep.
What did you do to sort of get clients from outside Garis Group? How did you go about that?
Most of our marketing is online, and that's built up over time. So we use social media, we use our Facebook page and our Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
Because part of the ongoing support we want to give to clients is, what's happening in the market sort of regularly, so little alerts. So if I know that there's been a number of clients and they've purchased in a particular geographic area, and we've had a report to say, this is what's happening there now.
Yeah.
They're getting those updates.
Yeah.
And anyone can go on and obviously follow our Facebook page.
Yeah. So you're publishing like, there's a new train line being built in Western Sydney, or there's a coal mine going in over here, or
and this is going to have this sort of effect in the area.
This amount of employment. So,
That's right.
This number of dwellings are needed and that sort of stuff. I think for the people who are out there spruiking the properties that might be a bit, not quite there, the process sort of finds them out eventually anyway, because when people go to get finance, the property doesn't value up.
Yes.
So there's sort of checks. There's checks and balances along the way, which is quite good.
Yeah, but it can waste a lot of their time.
Yes.
And people then become really disenchanted, and they think, this is all too hard. And really the strategy might be a good one for them, but they don't know. They just sort of lost. Who can I go to talk about this? So that it makes sense to me.
So what's some of the other marketing have you tried to do?
We've done some print, we've done trade shows and that sort of thing.
The trade shows work all right for you?
Look, there's a level of interest, but it's a bit hit and miss. It really sort of depends. Print media, I think, look, the articles might be of interest, but I think because of the nature of the investment people are making, pardon me, I've got a tickle in my throat. There's got to be a sense of trust with who they're dealing with. And so if you're reading something in a magazine or in a paper, it might spark your interest, but it's a bit like, well, who are they?
It's a long way from coming to talk to you.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
They're much more interested in, so they might be reading through that magazine or newspaper or bulletin or whatever it is, but then they're going to probably fall back to their sort of current advice circle, maybe, I suppose. So they'll go back to their existing financial planner or
the
something
best
like
marketing for us are people who are who've worked with us and understand our processes, the integrity and the ethics that we operate with, or people that are clients who've gone through the process and thought, gosh, that made it so much easier for us.
It's about taking the pain away a bit, isn't it?
It is.
They're probably not adverse to sharing some of their success with people they know if someone asks.
Yes.
It's not like they're going to go around gloating about their property portfolio, but if someone in their family or friends says, how are you going, and they say, I've bought some investment properties, that kind of leads into saying, I was getting help, I wasn't figuring it out myself. So that successful clients will breed, not literally breed, but create additional successful clients.
And a lot of them, look, when we run workshops monthly, and they're free, but often people who've bought from us before, have been happy with our services, will bring along friends.
Right.
And that's really great. And often I'll get those investors to actually talk about their experience, because I think people want to hear about from people who have actually been there, done it. How did they find the process? Is it in fact as smooth sailing as perhaps we think it might be?
So you're running a live event each month?
Yeah.
And is that new material, like it's a continuing education kind of thing, or it's
variety? There's a regular workshop that we run, which is for either new or experienced investors, about really what we do and how to do it better.
Yep.
But we also, probably about every 6 months, will run ones on the Australian market. So people who are current investors and just want to find out, come along and find out what's happening in the market, where should I be looking to next in the next 6 months, 12 months. Starting to get their heads ready to make the next investment. We also run info sessions for people wanting to invest in their self-managed super funds, so that they can find out what are the things that they need to do and the sequence with which they need to do it before they actually select a property.
So it must help create a huge amount of trust for them to be there, and you're in front of them presenting, or you've got guests presenting. I mean, you're not hiding behind paperwork or promotions. Then you're out in the front of people talking.
Guy, you said you'd started filming those or filming some of those and posting those on your website?
Well, I haven't posted them on the website. They're very casual, shall we say.
That's good, excellent.
But
honest.
Very honest, brutally honest, shall we say. But we found that for a lot of people, they've got young families at home or they're shift workers and they can't always come along at the time that we've got them on.
Not all semi-retired, self-funded super owners.
No, so we can actually send them if they want. We can send them the webinars. So I broke down our basic workshop into 3 parts, so they can have a little dose of die, or they can watch the whole 3 together, depending on what time.
Binge watch your die.
They might.
Yeah.
But yes, I probably need your IT skills to probably do a better
probably
job.
Not quite as much fun as a season of Game of Thrones, but
no. I could put my Daenerys wig on perhaps or something. I don't know. Have a dragon on the shoulder instead of a lane.
As long as what you're conveying is clear and honest, you have a lot of permission to be quite average in the sort of technical aspect of like a video or a presentation. I think.
Well, I hope you're right on that.
No, I really do believe it because I think it's very hard to be fake on video. If we were here reading a script or selling something, you pick it in seconds.
Yes.
So if you're able to stand and be in front of people for half an hour or 10 minutes or whatever it is, and speak something that you know, people know that, and that's like you see it in like politicians. The ones that are reading from a taught lesson, and the ones that are just going, "Oh, this is what I think."
Yes,
So I think
exactly.
people would know from watching this, Jeremy and I are as bad as what we look. So that's what
I think there's a brutal honesty that people should appreciate.
That's better. It's very hard to keep up a charade, isn't it?
It is.
So, Di, what's the best bit of business advice you've been given?
I think, and I thought about this because for those who are going to be doing these, you've sent us the questions.
Yeah.
I think the best bit of advice I ever had was to listen effectively to the client, because they'll start to talk about what they want, and as they chat on, you'll pick up on so many things and that you can then help them with. So
and it takes time to get to the important stuff. Like
it's like peeling back an onion.
You might be listening and talking for say half an hour, and then finally the real problem comes out, or the real fear, or whatever. You really can't pull that out of a 5-minute interview.
No, and people, you're right. Different people will take a different amount of time to settle down and feel comfortable, and very often they're chatting about quite personal things to somebody that they haven't really met.
Their whole financial plans and future and dreams to you. I mean, it's quite confronting.
But we are, I'll say brutally honest. I mean, if I really think somebody has made a whopper of a mistake, even though they might think that they've done something fabulous, I will tell them that they've made, seriously, and I mean, this is sort of free advice. I hope they appreciate my honesty sometimes.
I think people do. I think people, there's too many people that just say, that will.
Yes, we can do that for you.
We're better off sometimes saying, look, based on my experience, or I've had clients and we've done this and it's worked better for them, they've been happier. So maybe just think about that. It's their decision in the end.
That's exactly right.
You're sort of there to guide them. We sort of say with another shameless plug for mortgage broking, that it's a bit like walking up a mountain and you're like the Sherpa.
Yes.
You've been there before, you've done it before, you know what the pitfalls are, you know what's coming, and that's
better than herding cats, as they say.
Better than herding cats, for sure. So Di, last question: if you were starting in business today, rather than when you started back, would you do anything differently? Would you have done? I know we're in a different sort of world with digital marketing, technology, and that sort of stuff. So
I think that's it. I think the IT side of things and the social media side of things, which back then is so different to what it is now. Yeah. It would be lovely to have that IT expertise. Yeah. What else would you do?
That's why it's great to have someone like Jeremy, like probably the world's greatest website developer and hoster, in your corner as part of the
And I think having a network of people who have been in your same industry or are working in your same industry, who've got the experience and really, let them mentor you.
Yeah.
because you'll learn so much
Yeah.
from other mentors. If you can find a good one, you know, they're worth their weight in gold. And sometimes you'll learn from somebody that you least expected to learn from. But
you've got to be open to it, haven't you?
you've got to be open because it is you're constantly learning something new.
Yeah. No, that's great. Well, thanks for coming in, Di.
You're very welcome.
Another beautiful day in Merriweather, which is
yes, I'll go
fantastic.
and put my warm winter woolies on
It's
now.
a bit cooler than the last couple we've had. So yeah, thanks for joining us. 7:30 to 8:30, third Thursday of every month is the Beach Business Breakfast. Informal networking, meet new business contacts. It's quite fun and informal. And,
It is.
And hopefully you'll get some customers out of it or meet some people who can help you grow your business. So thanks, Di, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Guys.